Hey guys, that Lash Girl here, and welcome to that mini lash course. So we're going to be learning quite a few things in this course, so I'm going to dive right in. One of the most important things when it comes to retention that you guys need to learn about and be very in-depth with is your adhesive. Yes, your adhesive should be your best friend. Like, you should know your adhesive more than you know your spouse. So we're going to dive into, like I said, adhesives, how they work, how you should work with them, and then also what the obvious point is at the end of this is how to use your adhesive correctly during your lash application. That's going to make your retention amazing. I'm going to go over some troubleshooting with you guys, so if you do ever find yourself in a pickle and you don't know how to get yourself out, basically the steps that you should be going through, double check to make sure you did everything possible that you could do to ensure amazing retention and how to get there. Let's go. Now let's understand how the adhesive works before we dive into what's actually going to be best for you. It's extremely important to know from the very beginning, your glue does not dry. Yeah, I know. It cures. If you don't know what that means, that's totally okay. That's what we're going to learn in this course. Your glue does not dry, it cures. And what this means is your glue pulls moisture from the air that you're around, humidity. And what it does is it takes that and it sucks it up and it starts to harden. So kind of dry, if it makes it easier for you to understand, but it's curing. Now, understanding humidity is actually not so hard, so don't freak out. It's always super important to think about what your environment's like. Are you in a hot place in the world? Are you in a dry place in the world? Is it winter? Is it summer? Are you in a small place? Are you in a bigger place? Do you have the ability to take control of your temperature in your room? These are all really super important things that you need to understand about your environment before you can understand how to work your glue. So one thing I can recommend for you to start off with is buying a hygrometer. What this does is going to tell you the percentage of humidity that's in your environment. This is extremely important. We're going to be going over numbers. Don't worry, there's no math here.
Aw, man.
So certain glues from different manufacturers will have different components and different regulations for the humidity that they need. So it really depends on you. I'm Canadian, it's dry here. It could be very humid in the summer, so that means I have to change my environment quite a bit. So typical adhesive would take around 40 to 55% humidity. What you could also do is understand, after you find out what your humidity is from your hygrometer, you can manipulate it with a humidifier or a dehumidifier. So once you kind of get to that hot spot that's perfect for you when it comes to humidity in your environment, that's going to be what makes the magic happen. Secondly, what your manufacturer needs you to have in your environment is a specific temperature. If it's a very cold temperature, your glue is going to take a very long time to cure. If it's a very hot temperature, so your glue is going to get tacky very quickly. Depending on the glue you buy, you need to make sure that you check the components of what the manufacturer is telling you. One thing that can actually happen if your glue is subjected to too much moisture, so tears is a big one. Your lash extensions are going to turn white. This is called blooming. It shock dries and it becomes very brittle and it changes the adhesive actually to a color of white. So if you're looking for that dark lash line and someone's crying up a storm, it's not happening. So be very careful about how you apply your eye pads. Make sure it's not irritating their eyes. Sometimes it's nice to nano mist between your session, just so their eyes can relax and that they're not getting that sensitivity so they won't water. Because once you have watery eyes, this is a no-go. This is a huge no when it comes to having really great retention. So take control of those waterworks, and I'll tell you why exactly in a little bit too. Let's talk about Nano Mistake. This is a nano mister. This is going to be your best friend if it means that you are finishing at the end of the set, or if you're doing it in between your set. I'm going to show you exactly how to use this. Now, what happens is that this is going to disperse little tiny beads of water into the air, and you want to use distilled water with this. And so with mine, it slides down. So once you slide it down, you see it's dispersing little bits of moisture into the air. Two reasons why this is really good. This is really good to use throughout your service if your clients have sensitivities. If you're doing a very long set, say like a Russian volume, and it's taking you 3-4 hours, their eyes are going to be subjected to the fumes a lot longer and they could tear up. So this is really good to do in between your set, just to give them that little freshness that they need. And it doesn't shock polymerize the glue, just like we spoke about, but because it's such a small amount of moisture, it kind of gives it that oomph that it needs to cure just a little bit faster. So this will be really great for that. It's also really great to use at the end of your appointment. Okay, let's talk about adhesive storage. This is super important. You need to be storing your adhesive in the right environment, in the right place, so your adhesive does not spoil. So the characteristics of a great place that you should be storing your adhesive is somewhere dark, somewhere cool but not cold, and somewhere that's in an air sealed tight container. So some companies will sell specific containers for adhesive. You can even use one of those Ziploc containers, put some rice in there, and store it somewhere dark. You do not want to be storing it back in your fridge once it's been opened. Unless it's been specified by the manufacturer that you can, do not. Most glues will allow you, before it's unopened, to keep it inside your fridge for up to 5 months in a dark space, typically in the back, where there's lower humidity, because every time you open your fridge door, you're letting in humidity. So if you have an unopened glue, store it at the back of your fridge. If your glue has been opened, do not put it back there. It's time to give it its own little space. So if you find a dark space in your studio that's away from the sunlight, away from a window, away from heat, and a lower humidity, but not below, say, probably 19 degrees Celsius, this is your optimal space to where you should be keeping your adhesive. Okay, let's talk about adhesive expiries. Always going to want to make sure you check the manufacturer and what they recommend. Throughout this video, I'm going to be talking about my favorite glue. It's by Untamed Artistry. Untamed Artistry recommends that if you are a full-time lasher, you need to be replacing your glue every 4 weeks. If you are a part-time lasher, you need to be replacing it every 6 weeks. Why this is super important is that every adhesive has a component inside of it that's a stabilizer. What this stabilizer does in your glue is that it reduces the toxicity that is releasing out into the environment. Every single time you open your bottle, you're releasing a little tiny bit of the stabilizer out every single time. After 4 weeks or 6 weeks, your glue is now becoming more and more toxic. So you do not want to be using this on your clients. Why? Because they're going to be extremely sensitive. It's not necessarily that your glue is not good anymore in terms of how it adheres and how the retention will be, but now you have a toxic ingredient that you're adding into your experience with your clients, and they are not going to have a good time with that. So be very careful and be very diligent on when you're watching when your glue expires. One thing that's really nice that I like about the adhesive from Untamed Artistry is that there's a little tiny label that will allow you to write your expiry date. So now that you're an expert, that's right, you're an expert on adhesive, let's get to the good stuff, retention. Having amazing retention with your clients makes or breaks your business. You need to be doing everything you possibly can to give your clients the best retention for them to keep coming back, because no one wants to get their lashes done every week, or sometimes they don't even want to do it every 2 weeks. So here is a huge check mark list that I'm going to be giving you that you need to go through to make sure that you are doing carefully on your own part to make sure that you've done everything you possibly can to give your client the best results. Let's start. First and foremost, what is the most important thing that you need to be doing in your services for your clients to maximize your retention is cleaning your clients' lashes. This is super important, guys. Do not allow your clients to wash their own lashes. We can't trust them. You can only trust yourself. You can only know that you've done everything you possibly can if you've done it yourself. So clean your own client's lashes. Make sure you're using a specified lash shampoo, not baby shampoo, lash shampoo. I know over time, even myself, I have told people baby shampoo is fine. It's not. Don't use it anymore. It's very drying and it's not for lashes. It's for babies. So you need something stronger. So something that I highly recommend that you should be using is Prolong Lash Shampoo. This stuff is going to be your BFF when it comes to cleaning your own clients' lashes, and while you can even sell it, guys, you can make your own retail to ensure that you know your clients are cleaning their lashes and to make a few extra bucks. So now that your clients' lashes are clean, you need to double check. How's my humidity? How's my temperature? If you can check mark, yep, we're at 50% humidity, yep, we're at 21 degrees Celsius, you're good to go. It's super important that you're giving your clients a form to fill out before they start their service that will make them list any medications that they're on, or even if that they're pregnant. You need to know your medical history through your clients is if hormonal changes are happening. If your client is pregnant, if they're going through menopause, or just any other hormonal change that they know about, this is super, super important, especially pregnancy. This is one thing that people do not understand is that when they're going through pregnancy, they feel like I should have the best retention. My hair is full, my lashes is full, I'm living my best life. But your hair is gonna start falling out, and so is your lashes, and basically all the good stuff. Why this happens? When you are pregnant, you're getting a buildup of estrogen. And when you have all this excess estrogen, you're getting extra hair, like fullness, loveliness, it's amazing. But what happens is 3 to 6 months after pregnancy, you're gonna drop in significant levels of your estrogen. And what your body does is that's actually going back to its normal state of how much hair it had before. So it's not that you're going bald, it's just that you were living your best life before with fuller hair, and now you're kind of just going back to your normal state. So you're now losing your hair, you're losing your lashes, and on top of that is your extensions. So just be very clear with your clients. Yes, you may be lashing them and everything is great, but after pregnancy, it's something for them to look out for. Pregnancy, but menopause, anything that's going to change your estrogen level is going to change how your retention holds. Now is the application.